Hi, I'm Alvina Ling.
And I'm Grace Lin.
And we're book friends
forever!
We're childhood friends
who grew up to be
a children's book editor
and an author and illustrator. Yay!
Welcome to Book Friends Forever. This is the Gift and Specialty Sales with Adelia Kalyvas episode.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram and at YouTube at bookfriendsforever_podcast.
So as you can tell from our episode title and also from the video, if you're watching on YouTube, we have a special guest joining us, my colleague Adelia Kalyvas, who is the Executive Director of Gift and Specialty Retail Sales at Hachette Book Group.
Wow,
welcome.
That's a mouthful. Thank you. It's so great to be here with you guys.
Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit more for our audience?
Sure. So, like you said, I'm the Executive Director of Gift and Specialty Sales. And what that means is I'm part of the Special Markets Group, which is a larger group that kind of sells into all non-traditional places where you find books.
Yes. And we had Jenny Mandel on maybe at this point, was it 3 weeks ago? And, you know, and when we had her on, she had said, oh, I don't do gift sales. So you have to talk to Adelia. so here we are. So we always start with catching up with each other's lives. And we'll start with Grace. Grace, how have you been?
Oh, how have I been? I've been very, very busy. Now that we're doing YouTube, I'm not in the practice, and I'm like, oh shoot, because
you look great.
Not my best look. The other day I had to get blood tests for regular routine blood tests, and so I did my 5:30 workout. Then I had to rush back, got my blood. It was just like this really hectic morning, and I feel like that kind of is how this whole week is feeling, just like running around from one thing to the next. This past week, we did our first Bookish State webinar. So those who listen know that I started kind of a new podcast, or I joined a new podcast with Melissa Tom, a Connecticut librarian, where it features the Nutmeg Nominee Award. Nutmeg Award nominees. I got that mixed up. So it features the Nutmeg Award nominee books. And at the end of every month, we have a webinar with one of the Nutmeg nominee authors. And yesterday was our first webinar with Leslie Connor and Janae Marks, and it went really well. It was our first one, and I've never run a webinar before with panelists and things, so I was a little nervous, and so that took up a lot of time. And then next week, Debbie Michiko Florence and I are going on our very Asian book trip, which we are trying to make an annual thing where we go to all these different independent bookstores in New England and sign stock. And of course, this has been in the works for months and months and months. And it's just kind of a little hectic because, of course, I can't back out of it, obviously. But this is not really the best time. But still, it's gonna be great fun. It's just trying to get everything ready before I go and make sure that things don't fall apart while I'm gone. So all those things. And we're having a Moon Festival party this weekend because the Moon Festival is also a date I can't change. And
right.
So that's going to be lovely as well. But it's just a lot of things to get ready for and take care of, as well as, work. So it's busy. But,
yes.
but good busy.
Going on. Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
How about you, Alvina?
I haven't been quite as busy, but I have. So yesterday I went to the 92nd Street Y for Kate McKinnon's event there with, she was interviewed by the actor Penn Badgley, who you might know from Gossip Girl and the TV show You. And I think he has 2 podcasts. And he and Kate don't know each other, which when they announced this, I'm like, huh, I wonder if they're friends or because last year it was Seth Meyers, who they know
Mhm.
each other from SNL, and they didn't know each other, but he did a great job interviewing her, and it was a great event. And because it didn't start till 8 p.m., so it was really an adult audience, which it
Mm.
was last year as well. But they did take questions from the audience, and then the very last question, they were looking at it and they're like, "Oh my gosh, we think this was written by a child." And then Kate asked, like, did a child write this? And the child from the very back said, yes, in a child voice. And she said, I'm very sorry. I forgot that children could have been maybe in the audience. And I think I cursed maybe twice. So I apologize. But she was very, very funny. And it was a great event. Other than that, I'm actually running a half marathon this weekend. And
Whoa.
I've been I did a 10-mile run last week,
Oh, good for you.
but I do feel like, I don't know, I tried to run yesterday and I just really felt like I was just running through mud. I don't know. We'll
Mm.
see. I think I'm just going to relax and rest until the half marathon and take it easy. It's supposed to be one of the easiest half marathons, and it's in Corning, New York, and it's supposedly on a very slight decline the whole way.
Oh,
So
nice.
I'm running with my friend Tracy Shaw, who works here as well, and she's like, well, we'll just take it easy. We'll just have fun with it. So that'll be good.
Oh, that's so exciting.
Yeah. How about you, Adelia? How have you been?
It has been busy over here as well in the retail world. In September and October, we're really ramping up for holiday, which is
Hmm.
our busiest time of the year, and trying to get orders out the door, looking for stock in every corner and under the couch cushions. It's just crazy, but it's also really fun. So that's been, one of the things in my personal life. My kids went back to school earlier in the month, and one of my children went to middle school for the first time this
Oh,
year. So we've been navigating that this month, and it's been a little bit of a schedule change and just, getting used to all the newness, but all positive, all good, just different. So a little exhausting with that. And then my kids' birthdays are both in September and October. So we've been doing a lot of celebrating and all of that. So that's been fun.
that is fun. I guess I'll
That is
mention that
fun.
we're recording this on October 1st, so it is already October.
Crazy.
Grace, what were you going to say? Sorry.
No, I was just realizing it was already October.
Right? It's nuts. The time's flying. It's, we're talking about Christmas, and in our world, we're already talking about, the spring season, getting ready for that. So it's almost like this is behind us, which is nuts.
Yes. Well, I am interested to hear about the holiday season for your accounts. So let's
Mhm.
just dive in. But first, let's talk about. I am curious how you broke into the publishing industry. How long have you been working in publishing?
Sure.
How long have you been at Hachette?
So crazy enough, publishing was never really on my bingo card. I kind of fell into it, which happened, I went to school for marketing and communications, and I
Mhm.
thought I would, be super happy selling ad time space for commercials and things like that. And that just wasn't clicking. And I got and recruiter reached out to me with this job listing for sales and special markets. And I had no idea, what this was for publishing. And I looked into it, and I was looking at the company. It was Workman Publishing.
Mhm.
And I'm like, oh my God, I love all of these books. I grew up with these books, Brain Quest, Sandra
Mhm.
Boyden, like these things were very familiar to me. And it just seemed so fun. I said, I definitely have to go on this interview and just check it out. What's it gonna hurt? So I remember getting off the elevator at Workman Publishing, and I was greeted by so many warm faces, but also there's, huge plush chickens and just craziness in this lobby. And immediately I just felt like this is where I want to be. This is, the company for me. And I, loved the atmosphere, the people right off the bat. And I was there for 18 years in gift and specialty sales, which was fantastic. Loved working with them, family owned company, just was terrific. During my time there, I also worked a little bit selling to the MASH channel, which is just for everybody to know, the Reader Link, which is a distributor, sells into Target and Walmart and Costco and all these other chains. So
Mhm.
I also, toe dipped into that world as well. But gift and specialty has always been my love. And then 18 years in, Hachette bought Workman, and that was about 3.5 years ago. So I've been at Hachette ever since and really love it here as well. It's different, but it's amazing getting to work with additional publishers, things I never thought I'd get to sell. I'm so excited by, the LBYR list and the kids' books, running press and the little mini kits. I never thought I would be able to get my hands on those. So it definitely has been a lot of fun getting to sell all this new product.
Yeah.
Can you give an example of what one of the new products that you're selling that you're so excited about?
Oh my goodness, there's so many. Right now, we are seeing a huge boom with these mini kits from RP, which is great. These are little kits that they're almost like little toys. Some of them make noise, some of them, light up. They're like little figurines almost. So those have been selling like crazy. And then on the other side of business with books, a lot of stationery product is selling right now for us, which is fun to see. We are coming out with, a lot of our publishers are coming out with new formats that we've never seen before, like wrapping paper books and, just thinking outside the box, which has been fun for us to sell as well.
Grace, I don't know if have you seen those mini kits in the
No, I
store?
haven't.
Yeah, we're going to have to send you some.
Yeah, they're like, I think they're kind of meant to like sit on your desk, maybe some of them. So there's one is called Screaming Goat, and it's like a little goat's figurine that screams. I think. I remember I got actually, Adelia, we were talking about that leadership program,
Yeah.
and I think as part of that, we sat in on
Brainstorming,
a
right?
brainstorming session. So Running Press is the publisher that produces these, and they let anyone kind of give them ideas. And I remember the meeting I sat in on, someone had that idea of a tiny violin,
Mhm.
and it's now
One
actual
of our best sellers.
right. So it's like a little tiny violin. So it's
And what was
really
the wrapping paper, did you say?
Yeah, so now a lot of our publishers are branching out into different formats. So we have a book that's actually a bound book with a spine, but when you open it up, it's just all wrapping paper pages that you can pull out and you
Neat.
open up. And, different designers get behind this. We have one
Uh-huh.
for John Derrian. We have one with Natalie Latte. Just beautiful designs that our stores love. It's a very unique and different type of gift. Can't find anywhere else. So that's fun. Yeah, so those have been
That
doing
makes
well.
sense. I remember like a couple of years ago seeing like a book of stickers, but like antiquarian stickers, like and it was just like a whole big book of it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I want to buy this and for everybody. So I could see how the wrapping paper would
Yes,
be like.
yes, I love that book.
that's cool. All right. So, we found out what special sales mean, but if you could define specifically, I guess, gift
Sure.
and specialty retail sales or
Right. So, like
specialty
I
sales.
said, it's part of the special markets department. We sell all the non-traditional stores that actually have a brick and mortar location. So, physical stores. So that means I'm selling to thousands of mom and pops at, gift stores, toy shops, stationery stores, your Hallmark store, a garden account, anywhere that you're finding a book that's really not a bookstore.
Mhm.
That also includes national chains that you would find at your mall, like Urban Outfitters and World Market, TJ Maxx. So if you go into a mall, those stores are typically serviced by us as well. We have internal salespeople on the team who are really, focusing on those national accounts. But to reach every mom and pop across the country, we have to hire external sales reps. So these are people that we hire through agencies. There's tons of territories. There are small territories because there's such density with these stores. So we have about 100 independent gift reps that service the rest of the country and report in through these agencies, and the agencies report into my department.
Wow.
What do you do for online stores, or do they come to you instead of like I
No,
don't know?
so if they have both a retail location and an online store, we service those. If they're just an online retailer, then that falls under Jenny Mandel's
Got it.
purview.
Do you do museum stores?
Yes. So it's funny here at Hachette and most publishers, museum stores are kind of serviced by many different departments. So it's kind of a who got there 1st, you know, approach. So there are some museums handled internally. There are some handled by a gift rep. Others are handled more traditionally by an inside salesperson that's on the trade team and selling to bookstores traditionally. So we really divide those up depending on who got to the account first and has the relationship with the buyer.
Hmm. At what point of the publishing process do you start working on books?
So that is hard to answer because it's different for different publishers and different books. Crazy enough, with some publishers, I'm invited to acquisitions meetings, which is fun. I'm, part of their art meetings and their cover meetings. So really from like the ground up. And then with other publishers, the first time I'm seeing some of the information's at a launch or at a strategy meeting. So it just depends on the book. But we really, in sales, and especially in a department where you're selling everything, you're really getting to see things pretty early on, which is nice.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, what is which publishers do you sit in at the acquisition stage? Is it running press or is
So
it
it's Workman, generally
okay?
Workman Kids. I've sat in on acquisitions, cover meetings,
Mm-hmm.
the Workman adult and the Black Dog lists. We sit in on pre-launches.
Mm-hmm.
So we, get a sneak peek at that
Mm-hmm.
point, which is nice. We get to weigh in on things before it goes to the launch.
Mm-hmm.
So it's mainly the giftier publishers who want our feedback early.
Yeah, that makes sense. What is most helpful for you to hear, let's say at a launch meeting or at sales conference from either the editor or the publisher about the book?
So for us, it really is all about what sets our book apart from the competition. Many times the books we're selling, we're not selling a ton of fiction. We're selling lifestyle books, cookbooks, garden books. These books a lot of the times have a lot of competition in the marketplace. So it's always great to know what sets our book apart, whether it's the authorship or how long it took to write and all the research that was done, or the quality of the paper that we're printing it on, or, even I think back to selling, Workman calendars, just the quality of the editorial involved in that. And, we're not just stamping a picture on, the wall. There's, quality authorship here. There's an editorial experience that we're selling. So that really helps us when we're hearing from the editors, set these books apart and really talk and speak to the customers about what makes them special. So if we're going to, if a buyer comes to us, oh, I need a book on, hamburgers, and there's 25 books about hamburgers, our book, we can really tell them what sets that book apart and makes it the best one.
How do you pitch the list? I assume there's no way you can pitch every single book
Oh
on every single
my
division's list.
goodness. Yes. So we are presented every single title from every single publisher at HBG each season. And there are 3 seasons here. I think the last time I checked, and that's before we acquired Union Square, there were 3,000 books on each list. So going through those lists is incredibly hard. We curate down for sure. Like I said, we don't sell a ton of fiction. We do sell some fiction. We do listen to the lists. We do pick and cherry pick out what we know we can sell, but we really are curating down to about a third of that each season and pulling forward, the books that sell into the categories that we most hear our buyers want. So that's gift or humor, inspiration, lifestyle, gardening and crafts, things like that. So we're pulling apart the list as we're sitting and hearing presentations, and we're putting them into categories and deciding where they belong in our accounts. And, all of that happens in real time. And then what we do is we put them into a catalog. So we still have paper catalogs, if you can believe it.
Oh, so it's not just Edelweiss.
No, it's not just Edelweiss for us. Our buyers still want to sit down and page through a physical catalog that they can earmark or, make notes on and place orders. And I really find that it's the best way, not to just present the new, of course, but for books to have a long life and for people to find things they may not have, stumbled upon the first time. Or, we're having a theme on, tulips, and, we had these tulips books 2 years ago. They're still fabulous books and we want to put them out in the world. So a lot of what we do is culling through not only the thousands of new books that we have, but really and mainly the thousands and thousands of backlist books that, are gems and we love to see grow year after year.
So do you actually print the catalogs or do you like, is it a special, like actual bound catalog, or is it like
Yeah.
you're printing Edelweiss pages and creating
No, so it's a special
Oh,
bound
wow. Okay.
catalog, which we design and curate. So it's right now we have three different catalogs that have been circulating in our market because of acquisitions and things, but we tend to like to bind everything together as much as possible and curate by category. So,
And then do you
you know,
mail the physical catalog to the
yes.
accounts? Oh, wow.
Yes. And the
Okay.
fun thing
Wow.
is, if you're looking at kids' books, if you're going by theme, an LBYR book could be next to a Workman book, next to, a client publisher title, and they're all living together and, eyes get on everything. And it's, if you're looking for a theme, you're looking at it all in one place. So it makes it easier for not just the buyers, but for all of us, even, as we're getting requests, you can go back to that resource and there it is.
Sorry, this is getting into the weeds, but I was very surprised by the physical catalog. How many do you
Yeah.
print?
So each season, it depends on the budget for the year, but we tend to print a few thousand copies for our market and get those out to individual retailers, but also to our 100 reps who can like disseminate those while they're on the road, while they're at trade shows and things like that. A lot of people walk through trade shows. They may not place an order right then and there, but if they could walk away with a catalog and you go through and mark it up with them, you have a better chance of them connecting with you in the future and placing that order. So that tends to help us as well at the shows.
What are the trade shows?
So we have in the gift side of my business, we have, I think it's about 6 or 7 shows now that are regional that we attend twice a year. So we have our January and February market, which is in the winter, and then the summer markets, which happen between June and August. And these shows are incredible. Depending on the location, they're permanently housed in showrooms. So, Hachette rents a space within the larger agency from the rep groups that we hire. And there's, books from all different types of publishers, but there's also candles and toys and plush and, all the things a gift store would need to buy to, make their stores. So they're walking those shows to buy each season. They want to come in. They want to not just buy from the catalog, which they do love to page through and, place reorders, but they want to come and see what they're going to get. They want to see, the inside of a book and, talk through what it feels like and all of that. So this is a place where they get to do that in advance and kind of look at what's new and hot coming up and talk to us about what's on trend, but also a place where we have tons of our backlist that people can kind of see in real life. And as they have new themes coming up, be able to pull together stories from the merchandise.
Wow. Yeah, that's also
fun.
something I never thought about it. So do you also, or you or any people on your team go to specific stores and meet with buyers in person? And
yeah, so it's definitely not something we do with a lot of the mom and pops. It's just impossible. But in the New York area, for sure, we pop into stores. We actually have stores that come into our office here at HBG. We have one of our conference rooms. When I came here, I set it up as like a mini trade show room with all the different books so people can come and sit down and look at the product. So we do that. We also, of course, send people across the country to different national accounts to meet with them in person. So those sales calls happen, but we really meet the independents at these shows. And we do go to these shows in person and attend them.
Who is if there is one biggest gift retailer, who would it be for us?
Oof. It's, there's a lot of national accounts. I can say Cost Plus World Market has become a really large account for us. Urban Outfitters and Anthropology are really big.
Yes.
And then TJ Maxx, Marshalls, and Home Goods are huge business for us as well. So all of those, but even some of our mall retailers like Newberry Comics and Hot Topic and, all of those are still, very popular for us.
Yeah, I know in editorial we always think about Urban Outfitters, like that seems to be the one.
And it's fun because, a lot of the business comes from people trend spotting in these locations. So it's not just the Urban Outfitters buyer who like benefits from the book being in Urban. It's also the other retailers who shop Urban and say, ooh, I'm going to copycat. and I want the things that Urban's putting on sale, so I'm going to buy these things as well. Or, you know, people just walking through. It's definitely a marketing tool, having these books in these places as well.
Can you estimate what percentage are children's books in your market?
So it depends season to season. Generally, I'd say it's about 25% of our business. And it just depends on, you know, the product itself. The more interactive, the more playful and unique the product, definitely the more we sell. So things like Brain Quest, which is a children's book and toy line here at Workman, is different, like trivia games and things like that. Those tend to sell a lot in our market. We do a lot of the kids like interactive puzzle books and, you know, things like games, things like that, quick pickup items. We do sell picture books. We don't sell a ton of picture books. People seem to be very selective with their picture books in our market. There's a business for it, but they're selective. And, you know, they do tend to get more shop worn. So especially anything with a jacket, we have a little more trouble selling because people like to pick it up and they're playing with it and they're opening it and it can get shop worn. So that's a little bit difficult for us, but we do have a nice, healthy children's book business.
Would you say board books then are a little more or easier? Yeah.
Yep. Board books are great. We do sell much more of those than the picture books.
Is there anything an author can do to help you sell in?
So absolutely, depending on the book, of course. But it's great when we have like a connection with the author. So that could be either us getting to meet them or talk with them on the phone, or them, you know, creating an author video. I love author videos. I love sharing them with not just the internal team, but that 100+ people on the road who are selling the books into these independent stores. It gives them like an, you know, immediate connection to what they're selling. They're selling not just our stuff, but like hundreds of other things. So to, you know, have a story to tell is always amazing. So whether that, like I said, that's internal or external, we, you know, connect that with the book right away. So if you have, you know, 20 books in your bag and you have this amazing story to tell about this one where you got this information directly from the author themselves, you're probably going to pull that out first and have that conversation. So really that is, you know, something that we always ask for is, you know, author information, that personal touch. If they have a funny story or something that, you know, could live on with that book while we sell it in, it's always helpful.
So if an author sees a store that they think would be perfect for their book, is it annoying if they're like, oh, you know, you should sell my book here?
Never annoying. We love it. So getting leads is like a huge part of our world. We love hearing from, you know, authors, even people internally in the company. Like, I went on vacation last week. I saw this amazing story. You guys, you know, have to be in here. And they give me a business card or a name or a lead. We go after every single one of those. So always appreciate any kind of connections that can be made. And if an author has connections with retailers in any way, whether they're friends with them or they just live in the town and they're willing to go in and sign stock or whatever it is, we love that information. We'll use it. We do, you know, marketing blasts, e-blasts to customers all the time. We partner with, you know, authors where they can actually send the information and connect them back to us. So sometimes, you know, a store hears from us and they might just put it straight to the trash. But if they hear from the author that whether they know them or they had some previous connection with them, they're more likely to open that email and then say, oh, let me email Adelia, I'll place an order. And they connect them right back through us. And that's worked really well for us in the past.
Cool. How has the industry changed since you started working in publishing?
So, of course, consolidation is the first thing that comes to my mind. So consolidation, not just of the publishers, which is tricky in some ways, but also the independent gift reps that we hire. I've seen a ton of consolidation there. And there's pros and cons to that, of course. You know, sometimes it's easier if a gift group consolidates, you have less contacts and less management to deal with. But really, at the end of the day, that means all of these sales reps are selling more and more lines. And when I say lines, I mean, they have a package that they're selling and it could have been 20 lines when I first started in this industry, and now it's 50. And now you're competing with, tons more stuff. Not that they just have to work into a presentation and have the time to sell a store, but also to learn the nuances and, what the ins and outs of the back end are. And when you're trying to help a customer, you want to be an expert and you want to appear expert in what you're talking about. And I feel like we used to have the ability to make our reps much more expert in what they were selling. And now with the amount of time that they have, everybody works really hard and everybody tries really hard to be expert, but it's just almost impossible to have the expectations that we had years ago. So I find that we're, filling those voids as much as we can by stepping in and stepping up and going directly and, helping the reps more so than ever with back office or back end, anything we can do to help get them back out selling more than, behind a computer. So it's definitely changed in that regard. Again, it comes with its pros and cons, but competition means, less time with the customers, which is challenging.
This is totally random, but in young adult, I think sprayed edges are a thing. And I'm just curious if that's made an impact in the gift stores, because I imagine like a really beautiful package probably is appealing.
It absolutely has. And it's funny, it actually came up this week. I was talking with our largest agency that we work with, and they said, we really could use a sell sheet, just corralling every single title you have with these unique features and the sprayed edges and the glitz and the glam, because people are starting to ask more and more for it. So it definitely has worked its way in, but is I think, going to work its way more into 2026, for sure.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. What takes up the bulk of your working day? Do you have an example of a couple things on your to-do list, perhaps?
Sure. So, the challenging thing about our job is that there's really no typical day.
Yeah.
So I can't say like, this is what it is every day. That would have made me bored and wouldn't have been doing this for 20 years now, but we're constantly growing. We're pivoting. We're meeting customers where they are. So in a given day, I might have an external vendor meeting or a meeting with the sales manager from an agency. I could be helping someone on my team. I have 7 direct reports. I could be helping them troubleshoot a problem with a customer or working with customer service here internally in our credit team to move an order out of the warehouse or figure out a problem as to why something's not moving. There's days that I just spend focusing on how to grow the business and thinking big ideas. We're just meeting with the publishers to reflect on the list and ask for marketing asks and sell sheets and other collateral. Working on webinars together with the publishers and sales presentations. So just last week, a salesperson on my team opened a new account, which was amazing news. And we were so happy about it, but it led to like a, snowball of other operational issues with that account and getting them approved for credit and making sure stock was available and all of these things. So it just becomes different day to day. And there's really no true regular day. So I kind of come into work every day thinking, what's the fun thing that's going to hit the fan today that we can figure out together, and, all of those challenges, which make, our jobs fun and, exciting, all the opportunity, all the changes. Yeah.
Never a dull moment in publishing.
Never a dull moment, which is great. I like to live in the chaos.
I guess on a related note, then, what is your favorite part of your job, but also what is your least favorite?
Yeah, maybe start with your least favorite.
Ooh, least favorite. That's tricky. I think systems issues, definitely. I think anybody would say that. That can't be helped sometimes. But I think coming from a smaller company where like I had every system, I knew it inside and out, helped create the systems, had them working for us. It was difficult transitioning to HBG, which has ton more systems. So, there are different departments. If you have a damage on an order, let's just say, you're going to create a claim, but that affects your credit, but that's a different department here. And like, there's just many layers to different departments and how things work. So I think That's one of the most challenging things. I wouldn't say it's the least favorite, but it's one of the most challenging things. But something good that comes out of that is creating so many new relationships with people, and there's so many great, helpful, wonderful people on these other teams, and they're willing to roll up their sleeves with you and figure it out. So that has been a benefit for sure from that. And I guess the favorite part goes back to that. It's the people. I am very blessed that I have been in this industry as long as I have and have made relationships internally. I have people on my team that I've worked with for the whole 20 years. I have, external reps that I've worked with for the entire 20 years, store owners that I've seen at gift shows for, decades now. So all of these people, that's what really makes getting up and going to work, I think, so fun. And then the books, of course. But I think the relationships are an integral part of just how we generate and grow our business. People build a rapport, they build a trust, and, that goes a really long way on both sides. So I think that's, to me, the best part of this job.
Grace, do you want to ask the last question?
Yes. The last question, which we ask everybody, what's something you wish all authors and illustrators knew about what you do?
So I think one of the biggest things I tell people and educate them on about our business is backlist versus frontlist. We sell backlist, all day long. And that's really the bread and butter of our business. Frontlist might be 20% of my billing. It's really the opposite for every other department in sales. So, people are always chomping at the bit and like, oh, where's your sales for this book? It's coming out in 3 months and we haven't seen orders hit the system. Are you really going to sell this projection? And we're worried about this. And I'm always explaining, don't worry, this is the way it should be. We're not selling this yet. We're not even thinking about the book until a month before on sale. That's when we start hitting the pavement and really getting behind any of it. So people come to us very far in advance asking for information or asking us to pitch something, and I'm just constantly in my calendar looking for that on sale date, putting a reminder on for a month before, because our accounts just don't want to hear from us before that. They want to see finished books. They don't want to see pages on the screen. They don't want to see mock-ups. They really want to hold the book. They want to see it in real life. So 90% of our business comes after that on sale date. So I'm always telling everybody, don't worry, have faith. It's going to sell. Our number is good, and we are going to sell these books after on sale. It's usually the first 3 months after on sale that we see, the biggest pickup. And then after that and beyond, it's like we plant those seeds. And if a book really takes off, it's the backlist sales for us that year in and year out really impact the business.
Oh, how fascinating.
Mhm.
That is really interesting.
Yes, that is good to know. All right.
Fortune cookies.
Well, I think we can move on to our fortune cookie segment. And because we've been talking about shopping, basically, we thought it might be fun to talk about our favorite stores to shop at. Grace, what are yours?
Well, actually, this is really fascinating. Okay, I'm going to tie it into what you do, Adelia, because recently I want for the Very Asian Book Trip, we always buy these t-shirts that like are Asian themed. And I found this store called Mochi Kids, and I bought a bunch of t-shirts there, and they're so cute. And it's like they have kid shirts in adult sizes, and they sell a whole bunch of Asian themed things. And I remember going through it and saying, hey, they should sell my stuff here too. So if I wanted to have them approach them, what would be the way to do it, Adelia? Should I approach them and then refer them to you, or like what?
So I'm not familiar with this store exactly, but if it's an independently owned store and it's that one location, absolutely approach them. If someone's behind the counter, sometimes, it's someone who's hired and working there, but a lot of the time it's the owner, it's a manager, it's somebody that, can directly give you information. And, you can just say, that you're the author of the book and you would love to connect them with us. And if there is a good email address that we can have, or, a good time to call, we would be happy to call if they give us a name, and then we can, reach out.
Yeah, I think they have one location, but I was purchasing from them online. So I would like send them an email and then ask them and then ask them for the connection and then I would send it to you.
Yeah,
That's what you said?
exactly. Or you
Okay.
could even just reach out to my team, and we have a group here who would be happy to approach the store and say, hey, we have this perfect book for you. Our author was in the store. They really connected with it, make that outreach as well. So
Oh,
either way is totally fine. If you're in person, though, I always love to
I
just
know
try
in
and get
person is
an
better.
immediate connection's
So
always
anyway,
easy.
Mochi
But if you're
Kids.
online, just send us an email and say, hey, send it to the publisher. They'll connect you with us. And just say, hey, I really thought this was a great place for the books.
Great. Good to know. Okay, so
Of course.
Mochi Kids was one of the great places that I've been purchasing from lately. Of course, my local indie bookstore, my favorite local indie bookstore, High Five Books. I have to give them a shout out. And they already carry my stuff. Thank you, High Five Books. And where I do most of my shopping though is ThreadUp, which is not connected to what you do, Delia, but it's all thrifting online. So I love that. I
Love
do
that.
all of my clothes shopping there.
Fun.
How about you, Adelia?
So I'll take this opportunity to say all of the independently owned gift stores that I absolutely love in New York City. Peak Gifts, if you haven't been there before, it is such a fun gift store.
Where is
They
it?
have a few locations or throughout the city, but my favorite is across the street from the HBG office in Rock Center. If you
Oh.
walk in there, you will say it is a Hachette store. They love us. We love them. We work closely together. They come across the street into the office all the time. Just have awesome gifts. Definitely check them out.
Is it
Um, it's
PEAK?
PIQ.
Oh, PIQ. I
You
don't know
might
if
have seen them at Hudson Yards. They're right here at
okay.
Rock
I'm gonna
Center. I
definitely
think
check
they have a
them out.
Grand Central location. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they are an awesome gift store. Another really awesome independently owned store is Annie's Blue Ribbon in Park Slope, Brooklyn. If you're ever in that area,
Hmm.
Annie curates that store better than anyone I have ever seen. So it is definitely worth a trip. Beautiful, beautiful gifts in that store. Same
I
with
live in
Lockwood and
Brooklyn, so I'll
oh,
have
so
to
you
check
got to go to Annie's, and across the
Annie's. All
street
right.
and down the block is one of my favorite toy stores as well, Little Things Toys. So you could do a little store tours in Park Slope. Definitely check both of those stores out. Love them to death. Lockwood and Astoria, also another fabulously curated gift shop. If you're looking for gifts, stop in there. And then just in New York City, two places I love to go that I think are a lot of fun is Fish's Eddy, which is
Oh yeah.
dishes and home decor and is just awesome and fun to walk through. So I would recommend that. And then the New York Public Library gift shop,
Hmm.
love to death. So if you haven't been there in a while, go visit. It's so much fun. Those are my shout outs.
Yay! That reminds me, I realized I have to give a shout out too that I forgot to the Eric Carle Museum book because you said the gift shop. I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot the Eric Carle Museum gift shop. It's amazing, and actually, because I have an exhibit there, they just produced and in their gift store have a big mooncake for a little star scarf, which is so beautiful, as well as a Chinese menu dish towel. So and they have just so many fun things. They have all the out of print t-shirts and they have like all this Eric Carle, obviously like tiles and pins and like anything you want Carle obviously is there. But not just his stuff, but so many great things. So the Eric
Yes.
Carle Museum bookshop is, or gift shop is
Yeah.
another great
We
place.
love selling that account.
Yeah,
Love
it's
that for
such a
clothing.
fun store.
That's great. Well, I guess I'll give a shout. I love the MoMA design store, which is right near the
Yeah.
office. I think they have great, really
Oh,
fun
yeah.
things. I feel like the store I probably shop at the most, it's an online store, is Etsy. I don't know if that's
Mhm.
cheating because it's basically a lot of, but they even have, Grace, your coconut cake that you love. I got that at Etsy, which I wouldn't have thought of Etsy for bakeries, but I guess they have everything. And then I guess physical stores. I do love going to Anthropologie. I haven't done that in a while, but sometimes
Mhm.
I'd pop in the Anthropologie right near the office, and I like going there to to buy gifts if I need
Yeah.
a physical
I always love their
gift.
dishes there. I spend too much
Hmm.
money on their dishes.
Oh, it's their home department is beautiful. And
Hmm.
then to shout out just personally, I mean shopping, um, love Anthropology as well, but Banana Republic Gap has really like taken a step up. And I think since Zach Posen has like come into the picture,
Mm.
their quality, all of that stuff has really returned. It's been fun to see like their advertising and the changes that are happening there. So that would be another one I would say. It's been
Nice.
nice to shop.
Um, I think my favorite bookstore that I go to, again, it's just because it's in Rock Center, is the McNally Jackson. That's
Yes.
right
Mm.
there, which I think, but it's also I don't know, I think it's well curated and great. And they have a great stationery
Oh
section
yeah.
with all the pens. I like
Oh,
to go there and
you
just
get just
like
lost in
test
there.
different
Yeah.
pens.
I love bookstores that have gift things. I know it's kind of cheating, but I love when the bookstores have like socks. They have like,
Mhm.
like
Yeah.
notebooks and like t-shirts and things like that.
It's the
Like, because
kind
it's
of
always,
gifts that book lovers love.
yeah, because
That's
it's
what they
always
would
book
call in the
related and it's just
bookstore.
completely up my alley.
That's what they would call sidelines,
Yes.
Mm,
industry speak.
nice.
I like bookstores with sidelines.
There you go.
Nice. All right, so now we'll end as we always do with what we're grateful for. I guess I can start this week. I forgot to mention something else I did last week, and Grace, your store reminded me as I went to the Carl Honors, which was last Thursday. I feel like we
Mm.
recorded before I went.
We did.
So it's their annual gala. It was at the Historic Society on the Upper West Side, and it was wonderful. Let's see, who were the artist honoree
George Ford.
was George Ford, who is 99 years old.
Wow.
Amazing. Like,
He
I
gave you a
love
shout out. I
him.
don't know if you heard that.
Oh, I didn't know that.
So it wasn't quite a shout out. So he's 99, but he's pretty sharp. But he like he went up there. He was kind of dancing, but also a little unsteady. So we were like a little worried for him. But so he started just telling different stories, and then he mentioned Chautauqua, and then he said Grace Lynn was there, right? That's what he said.
Yes.
So you got a nice little shout
Oh,
out.
that's nice.
Um,
I was when he was chosen, I was just so happy.
and then the CCBC was honored, and I saw Mary Lindgren. Is that her last name? She who listens to this podcast. So hi, Mary. And now I'm blanking on Tessa. Accepted the honor. Andrea
Yay.
Davis Pinkney won the Angel
Yay.
honor, and then there was I think it's called the Seattle. I should have written anyway. The Seattle Play
It's a theater, children's
Theater.
theater.
Yes.
Well, I'm cheating. I'm
Oh yes.
actually on the committee, the
That
honors
picked it.
committee. So,
Yes. So thank
so
you. You
it's not
yes.
because I'm so much smarter. I just
No, no, that's great though. But yes, and Mac Barnett was the MC. And it was just a lovely event. And I was grateful to have that event and to see people I haven't seen in a long time. I talked to Phoebe Yeh for a long time. I saw Farron Jacobs, who's a former colleague there, and yeah, it was just really great. So
yeah, it's
um,
always a wonderful event. I felt really bad that I couldn't go this year. Hopefully next year.
yeah, I was grateful because I actually missed last year when I was supposed to go with you because I was sick. So I was glad to go this year. So I was grateful for that. Um, Adelia, what are you grateful for?
So in preparing for this today, I was thinking back at, the last 20 years of this career and just also having coming out of the Women in Publishing
Mm,
seminar that we had last week here at Hachette, and just very grateful for all of the strong and incredible women that have guided me and mentored me and been my friends in this business over the years and just learning from them. Just incredibly grateful for, past partners that I've worked with, Jody Weiss, Janet Harris, Marilyn Barnett. I've learned a ton from them, but also my current team and working with Andrea Rosen and Jenny Mandel, who are incredible. And just, my team as well, getting to work with them every single day. I'm so grateful for that. So thank you guys for, you
oh,
know, yeah, bringing that up and, giving me this opportunity to kind of look back at all of that has been really nice experience.
no, that's lovely. I think that
Right.
event was actually the same night as the Carl Honors because I had to decline the event. But
Yeah.
I did get someone who reached out to me who had gone to the event and reached out to me for an
It was
informational
so
interview.
well
So
done.
yeah, wonderful. Grace, what are you grateful for?
Okay, so I'm grateful that this weekend, where, like I said earlier, is our Moon Festival celebration, and there's no rain forecasted, so that's really great. And our mooncakes came in. Did you get your mooncakes, Alvina? Not moon, not yet.
Oh, no, but now
Okay,
I know
our
to expect
mooncakes
some.
just came in. So we're like all set. So I'm very excited about that. But what I'm really actually really grateful for is this morning, Alex and I got an email from Hazel's teacher and said, we just wanted to let you know that Hazel is the student of the month.
Aw.
And they said there's like a little, and like the little thing that they say about her is like, Hazel has been an exemplary student on all levels. She offers great answers, volunteers to come to the board regularly, and has been incredibly consistent. Hazel's work is supremely organized, clear, and easy to understand. And when we read that, we're both like, she's organized. And they're like, she readily helps her peers and knows how to lead the class. And like we're so proud of her. And I can completely see her doing all these things in one way, but at the same time, we're both like, she
Our
must
daughter?
be, she's like such a closed book at home. It's kind of like when she was in first grade, and every time she came home, or first or second grade, and I'd be like, "Oh, what does this say?" And I would show like, and she's like, "Oh," and like, because I was trying to see if she could read, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know," and we're like, "Oh," and I was really worried, and I was saying to Alex, like, I'm not sure if I think she might be struggling with reading. We might need to like help her. And then we went to the parent teacher conference, and like, and Hazel is reading way above above level. We're like, what? So it's kind of like the same thing. We're like, she's really organized and, and clear to easy to understand. Okay. So it's just this really funny dichotomy. We're like, I guess she saves her good behavior for school, which is probably the way it should be. So we are very proud of her. And I'm very grateful for that.
Oh, that's
Aw.
so nice.
Yay. And that was the gift and specialty sales with Adelia Kalyvas episode. Thanks for joining us, and thanks to Alex at Paceyworks Studio for editing this podcast. Please rate and review us on Apple Podcasts and tell a friend about it.
And tag us on social media using the hashtag BookFriendsForever, or send us a message via Instagram at BookFriendsForever_podcast, or via our website, BookFriendsForever.com. And please join our Patreon. The link is in the show notes.
I'm Alvina Ling, and you can find me at Planet Alvina on TikTok and at Alvina Ling on Instagram, Blue Sky, and Threads. Adelia, is there some place that people can find you?
Sure, you can find me at Adelia Kalyvas on Facebook and LinkedIn, and also Adelia427 on Instagram.
Yay! And I'm Grace Lin, and you can find me at Pacey Lin on Instagram and Threads, and author Grace Lin on Facebook, and Grace Lin author on TikTok.
Have a great week.
And happy reading! Bye!
Thank you so much for joining
Thanks.
us.